Hello and welcome back, everyone, to another week of Quick Hits. Just as a reminder, what we do during Quick Hits is I take current events from last week and give a little bit of context and commentary on them. As always, we are sponsored by Prime IV. Let's get to this week's Quick Hits.
I would say that Colin Kaepernick is the Meghan Markle of the sports world, but that wouldn't be quite accurate. Sure, like Markle, he's a wealthy, privileged brat, just as white as he is black, but nonetheless obsessed with his entirely imagined racial victimhood. So that's similar, but there are some crucial caveats. First, for one thing, Kaepernick can't really be the Markle of the sports world because he isn't an athlete, unless you count the oppression Olympics as an actual sport, which perhaps it is or one day will be.
This was a really sad story this week. We had Colin Kaepernick, who basically came out with a graphic novel talking about how his parents were racist and had subconscious racist bias, despite literally adopting him as a child and taking him in and raising him his whole life to become an NFL quarterback. I can't imagine someone literally complaining about that and how their parents failed or had racism in their heart when they literally raised him to be a professional athlete. And he's obviously a very successful person despite using a lot of his skin color as well as other calls on equity in order to gain that success and fame. It's just really sad that he's attacking his parents. And we see this a lot in culture, especially right now, unfortunately.
I want to briefly speak about what's happening in Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank. Today, thanks to the quick action of my administration over the past few days, Americans can have confidence that the banking system is safe. Your deposits will be there when you need them.
So for those of you who didn't hear, this weekend, Silicon Valley Bank collapsed. And this has made a lot of people very concerned about banking, whether or not they need to start pulling funds out, whether other banks are going to start collapsing. The reality is there's not a lot of legitimate fear for that. And the reason why is because since the Great Depression, as well as 2008, legislation has been passed to make sure this can't happen. For better or for worse, the government has laws in place where they will bail out those people who lose money through the banking system. And that's just a consequence of our past experiences with the Great Depression as well as recessions in the past years.
But the spirit that animates Andrew Tate is very clear and very obvious, and it's not a malicious spirit at all. Andrew Tate's core message is respect yourself.
Okay, so I agree that Andrew Tate is not a malicious person. What Tucker Carlson is saying here, though, is not true. His message is not to respect yourself, because respecting yourself does not mean sleeping with 7 different women in 1 week. His core message might be what I think it is to take responsibility for your life. If you're fat, go work out. If you have no money, go do something entrepreneurial and get the money. Do it yourself. And this is a message I believe in. I don't think it's self-respect, though, because OnlyFans is something that Andrew Tate created and is the opposite of self-respect. So I think Tucker misses the mark here a little bit.
When was the first time that Mr. Musk approached you about writing the Twitter files?
Again, Congresswoman, that would...
I just need a date, sir.
But I can't give it to you, unfortunately, because this is a question of sourcing, and I don't give up. I'm a journalist. I don't reveal my sources.
It's a question.
All right. So we see here that we have Democrat lawmakers asking a journalist to reveal their sources. Now, in law, there's something called reporter's privilege. Reporter's privilege makes it so that reporters are not they're not liable to reveal their sources to courts or to Congress people or senators. So the Democrat knew this. They were trying to kind of sneakily just assume that it was Elon Musk, but Matt Taibbi did a fantastic job of just asserting his right as a journalist to not give away his sourcing. And frankly, shame on that Democrat for trying to probe further when she knew very well what the law was.
Certain dates echo throughout history. December 7th, 1941. September 11th, 2001. And January 6th.
No. January 6th is not in any way congruent with 9/11, with Pearl Harbor. They say, so you'll hear in the media a lot, there's a narrative that 5 people died on January 6th. The absolute truth is that one person, a protester, a rioter, was killed on January 6th. Other people, the media has looked at it as if they're connected to January 6th. So we have a couple of people who committed suicide, as well as an officer, I believe, who had a stroke. And they've attributed that to the stress they had under January 6th. Regardless, January 6th was nothing like these other terrorist attacks that went through. Check out Fox News's recent uncovering of the footage that Kevin McCarthy sent them. It is a fascinating revelation on what happened on that day.
And so, of course, we're not going to recognize lawless identifications that are done by California. And California, they've abandoned the rule of law. They are a sanctuary state. They don't follow federal immigration laws. And
this is a really important principle that Ron DeSantis brings up, which is the rule of law. It used to be that one of the hallmarks of liberalism, or being a liberal Democrat, was understanding and utilizing the rule of law in your governance. This has totally been done away with Democrats, especially Gavin Newsom in California. We have red flag laws, which basically take away someone's right to bear arms before they've committed a crime. We also have what he's talking about here with immigration, where we literally have people committing a crime and different people are being treated differently under that same law, which is a total liberal principle in a liberal democracy. So it stuns me that now Republicans are actually taking up this issue while Democrats are falling behind. Thanks again for watching, everyone. Make sure to go below, comment, subscribe, and like. Let me know what you thought of this week's Quick Hits.